A very good morning. Welcome to it. We are still in the second hour of the morning show here on ETV. My name is William, last name Lehong. Perhaps you've just joined us. It was Father's Day yesterday, and we continue our conversations on fatherhood. But that does not mean we will stop reflecting on fatherhood, in fact, and its meaning right here on the morning show here on E. Fathers Matter is a Heartlines initiative that seeks to promote the active, positive presence of fathers and fathers' figures, right, in the lives of our children. Now, here to unpack that for us this morning is Garth Japhet, who is a dad and CEO of Heartlines, and Olefile Masanagane in studio, also timer and program manager at Heartlines. A very good morning to you, Garth. Olefile, you are here. I mean, how's it going with Heartlines so far?
So far, so good. We find ourselves in a very privileged position to be able to do the work that we are doing.
Right.
We've been at it, and now we are in the space where we adding value to the whole revolution of fatherhood.
I noticed, Garth, I know you can hear both Olefile and myself right now, that, I mean, we celebrated Father's Day yesterday, right? And it's a day filled with mixed emotions for a lot of people. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think what's been fascinating about the work we've been doing is the father issue is a thing that cuts across all cultures, races, classes, whatever you call it. It's a matter that touches people, and everybody. You know, we in our research, it's not that mothers don't matter. Mothers matter a lot, and we all know that. What is interesting is that fathers matter, and a lot of people don't know it.
I like that. So, Olefile, why do fathers matter?
Well, again, just reflecting back on that question you asked, Garth, is that mixed emotions, again, I've buried 3 fathers since the beginning of this year. And I think for a lot of young people who've lost their fathers, yesterday was a day filled with mixed emotions. I thought, let's just acknowledge that.
Okay.
We're living in a very difficult period as a society. But why do fathers matter? It matters because, you know, yes, some of us have been raised by single mothers. Right. And I'm standing here, my mother's 89 years old, about to turn 90, hopefully in October. Wow. That woman is a strong woman, and I'm glad that I have had the privilege of being raised by that woman. Yeah. But William, the importance of a father in a child's life can never be underestimated. That fathers, your lack of presence in the life of a child can have dire consequences in the life of a child, from educational capabilities at school, yeah, to risky behaviors. So all sorts of behavioral repercussions, you know, when a father is not there, or a father figure is not there in the life of a child.
I mean, I was reading on Twitter yesterday. I want to reflect on this tweet very quickly. I mean, someone was tweeting Bonolo Mbali saying, one thing about your father, and this thing was trending for a better part of 24 hours. It's still trending even now. And someone was saying, my dad didn't fail ukuba timer. Inkinga nje ukuthi washeshe washona lo yamjida. As you were just rightfully saying, right? Like a lot of people were reflecting yesterday about how, you know, if dad was around, I would have, you know, been celebrating him. But in the time that we had to spend with him, you know, he was a good guy.
Absolutely. And we want to elevate the conversation and profile those good guys. And I think they're not getting the airtime they deserve.
Garth, I'm going to bring you back in here. I mean, what are some of the broad misconceptions around the presence or absence of a father?
Well, you know, one of the things that we found, which is fascinating, is that the vast majority of men and women see fathers as a person who brings money into the family. And if you can't bring money, then what use are you? And that's a perception that's held by men and women. So if a guy is not, in South Africa, there's a huge unemployment. The sense is, if I can't bring money, then I can't be a father. And when you speak to kids, they say, I want dad, I want him, I want a present. You know, whether he can give me gifts or not is not as important. And the same is true of women. Women, I mean, there's a lovely quote from our research that says, if he can't bring money into the home, I don't need another child in my house. And this is the biggest obstacle to men being present in the lives of children. It's this perception that I am a provider. If I cannot provide, then I can't be present. And Fathers Matter is all about trying to encourage men and father figures, because as Ollie was saying, it's not just about biological fathers, to be present. So I think, as Ollie said as well, is the evidence is so dramatic around the impact of the father figure. 90% of juvenile jails in America are father absent homes. Violence increases, drug abuse increases, mental health suffers, education suffers. So we've got to change the perception. Of course, we know mothers matter, but actually fathers matter or kids matter as much as mothers do.
I'm glad you brought in the numbers there, Garth. I mean, Ollie, when we talk about the research that you guys have done at Heartlines, what have you found? I mean, what is holding fathers back?
Well, there are gaps, and it's a knowledge gap, and it's about how society, both men and women, sort of confine different particular roles to say only mothers are supposed to do this, only fathers are supposed to do this. Some of us have actually kicked that box wide open.
Right.
And we've changed nappies and we've mixed formula milk. So
you and I same WhatsApp group.
So that's the one thing. And then provision. Garth has just spoken about provision. That there's this concept of an ATM father. That you're only a father if you can provide money. But there is a he emotions. There is an emotional side of us being men. And I was saying the other time on Twitter or Facebook, I was saying that I want to bring up my child to actually know that he's got emotions and he can cry. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Nothing wrong when a guy can cry. Skills. I've spoken about how to change nappies, and I said there's a lack of skill there. Some men do need to be taught.
Yeah.
Hey, Autiaka, this is how you actually change a nappy, and how you mix formula milk. But many other skills in terms of how do you hold those conversations with your son about sexuality, about bullying, and so on. How do you fend for this? I did not have my father there when a bully was in my life, so I had to learn all sorts of things from boxing to karate just so that I can survive the ghetto, And
I guess unlearn some things as well, Ollie, like the historical premise of indoda ikali. If you have emotions, you need to express them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. If you have emotions, you have to express them. But we need to learn. You see, I heard another man saying, I can never do what I never saw my father do.
Right.
So example is important. And that's why we broaden this campaign to say fathers and father figures. Even if you don't have children of your own, Autiaka, you can actually play a role because influence is not a choice. So the other one is resources. So we don't have culturally relevant resources for key institutions such as churches, and schools and the workplace. We don't have resources. The last one is that culture is playing a gap there. I mean, there's a gap there in terms of things like in Tlaulo, where men are excluded from the life of a child because they have not jumped this hurdle. And there is a lot of reflection to be done there in terms of that particular practice.
And there is still quite a lot to do. I mean, Garth, let's wrap it up with you here very quickly. Let's remind people and give them the details of where to find more information on the Heartlines Fathers Matter campaign.
Yeah, thanks, William. And you go onto our website, just www.fathersmatter.org.za. The key things you can do: become a Fathers Matter champion, and we will then provide you with information, shareable things. One of the exciting things we're doing is Fathers Matter Connect groups. This is where groups of men connect with each other to support each other in the fatherhood journey. And we support them with resources, training, and be inspired by the stories that are there. Over 60% of kids in this country are growing up without that in their lives. We need to change that. By changing that, change society. So please go to www.fathersmatter.org.za
Awesome stuff. Garth, your line was a little, shaky there, so I'll just repeat that website for you, South Africa. You can go to www.fathersmatter.org.za. We'll take a quick ad break. We'll be back with your sports news at the bottom of the hour in a moment. Stay with us.